Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on April, I don't know, the date makes me laugh. April 6th, 2022. And I was just having a chat with Donna pre-show. I'll repeat exactly what I said. Stephen O'Donnell, an occasional visitor to this show, he's over in Glasgow. He created a day. I didn't know really that he created, Donna told me, International Recruiters Day. You know, there's International Donut Day. Why not International Recruiters? And so he is soliciting videos from people who want to give a message to the recruiters of the world. And I just want to offer the people on this show, and I created one, you can make a presentation right now on the show. I'll cut it up, edit it into a little segment, and I'll ship it out to him as your segment, the message from Michael G. Cox or Ivan or Donna or Sasha to the world. Okay, so first, we're going to do mine. Hi, everybody. So I'll do mine first and you guys can think about it. But I want some cooperation from you guys to help me, okay? Of course, I can't strong arm you, but I'd like it. Hi, recruiters of the world. Stephen O'Donnell, our good friend in Glasgow, told us it's International Recruiters Day tomorrow on April 7th, 2022. He's soliciting contributions of messages for recruiters of the world from anybody. So I've created one, and it's not a recruiting technique, it's an energizer. It's to help you relax because a lot of recruiters are saying they're feeling burnt out. So I am going to give you a couple of exercises, and I want the recruiters here to do them with me, okay? They're really easy, and you can do them at your chair, okay? The first is a W. You just put your hands back in a W and arch it back like W. Can anybody want to do it with me? W, flap your wings a little.
Come on, Ivan.
Yeah, and stick out your chest.
I always hated to do that if this is required. And
my shoulders hurt.
Okay, we'll just keep it quick. The second one is elbow sneeze. You go from this side to this side, to this side, to this side. You do it a few times. I won't do them all. It looks a bit like you're smelling your armpits. And the final one is a chant. If you're nervous, it's mucka lucka hi, mucka hidey.
Oh,
You do it with me? Yeah, mucka lucka hi, mucka hidey ho.
No way.
Come on, mucka lucka hi, mucka hidey ho. Come on, mucka lucka hi, mucka hidey ho. Hey, yeah. Okay, you know what? These guys are embarrassed, but you, when you're sitting in your home office and you're feeling a bit down, do those little stretches and then do the mucka lucka chant. Why not? I changed it. It's not exactly the way Pee Wee Herman did it, okay? His is Miney, what is it? Anyway, mine's a little different. It's specifically for recruiters. It's going to attune you with the universe. Does anybody else want to give a message to recruiters of the world? Come on, anybody? I'll go through everybody.
This coincides with like National Whiskey Day, doesn't it?
How do I know?
No,
There's a day for everything, okay? There's a month for lots of things. So maybe it's International Recruiters Month. Michael G. Cox, raise your hand. TheSalesRecruiter.com. Do you have something you want to contribute, a message to the recruiters of the world?
To all the recruiters of the world. Good luck with that one placement that you're sweating about. I'm sure you'll fill it. You'll be fine.
I want a tip. Okay, we'll get, you know what? I looked up sales finesse. Okay, so we'll have a discussion. And if Michael G. Cox, okay, we'll see. Donna, you got a message? Yes or no?
Sure. I'll do one. You ready? All right. To all my fellow recruiters, I know when I first started this job, I felt like it wasn't a real job. It was nothing that I could see. There was nothing tangible. I just sat and I made phone calls, sent emails, and I just kept feeling this is not a real job. But it is, and it's a really special job. And when you get those moments when you know that you've really changed someone's life by finding something for them they didn't even know they were looking for, getting them a better income, a better situation, a better culture, it really does something for you. And it makes you a lot of money at the same time. So there's really nothing better, and I'm excited to do it, and I hope you are too.
Wow!
Happy International Recruiters Day.
Wow! Ivan, Clang.so, he created his own applicant tracking system, Clang.so. Do you have a message for the people of the recruiters of the world? look at that expression on your face. I guess you
I'm
don't
just
have a message.
thinking how to beat that. Like, but like,
Well,
okay,
think about it. You
this
can
is
say
an
during anybody,
amazing
you know what? If
pitch.
something comes during the show, just
Okay.
say, "Hey, I got my message now." Sasha, anything you want to say?
Well, I would give them an advice about reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. I mean, obviously, this is in Serbian, so not relevant at this point. However, there is a very, very interesting strategy that they can find when they feel demotivated, and which is called JAR strategy. Okay, so the bottom line is to, when you're making cold calls, to transfer, and I took what is it called in English, the word?
What do you
What is
have?
that?
Toothpick?
Toothpick.
Yeah, when you complete one cold call, just to transfer it into another jar, because visually it's gonna motivate you to complete the other jar, and it has its own sense and logic behind the whole story.
Yeah,
So bottom line,
gamification.
people read Atomic Habits. Is gonna help you a lot.
Good, thanks. But you were supposed to introduce it as, "Hi, my name's Sasha Tasanovic, and I have a message for the recruiters of the world on
And thank you for
International
doing
Recruiters
that,
Day."
Michael. You did that instead of me.
Yeah, it's supposed to come at the beginning.
Well, I don't think I did that either, so it's all right.
Okay,
Nobody cares who
I'll
we are.
include my introductions in your little things. Okay,
They don't care.
MarioTheRecruiter.com.
Hey, folks.
Mario,
I'll be right back, people.
okay,
Hi, Sasha.
MarioTheRecruiter.com. Do you have a message for the recruiters of the world on International Recruiter Day? Think about it. If you have it during the show, that's fine. Okay, so I'm
I'll
just
figure
telling
something
you.
out.
Okay, if you want to.
I
Okay.
can try just like stand up thing. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Dear
He's going to
international,
include that.
3, 2. Dear international recruiters of the world, I'm Ivan Gulenko. I'm a recruiter in Switzerland. Started my own agency 6 years ago, and I haven't looked back. Why? Because it is indeed a very, very special job. Most of the time, you do things on contingency. You try to generate a success, a match between a job and a candidate. It's not easy, but I can tell you, if you keep going, if you keep working and hustling, there will be success and you will love this job.
Wow, I got to tell you, that
I
was
love
good,
that.
Ivan.
That is awesome. Ivan, that is awesome.
But you'd never know it from reading all the stuff he publishes on Twitter and Facebook. I gotta tell you, it's all about how crazy people are, and he didn't realize it before he started his own business. Right? Okay.
True.
This was for the audience. Okay, I'm going to move on now. But if anybody else wants to give here's a typical. Here's a Ivan. Ernie has a Ernie rule. Okay, and he has a little pep talk, but I won't say it until he gets here, if he does. Okay, Ivan said. He said interviewing is 90% about having good chemistry between people and 10% about answering tech questions correctly. That sounds wrong to me. Okay, I'm not in tech, so
No.
I don't know. Michael G. Cox, you go get him.
What kind of tech questions are being asked?
No, that's not the first challenge. The challenge is he's talking about gut reaction. Is that how you're not supposed to hire? You're supposed to hire people you don't like, who you have no chemistry with. That's going against culture fit. Culture fit is bias. Okay, am I right or wrong? Ivan, defend
Correct.
yourself.
I
Ivan,
mean, let's say you suck at like technical stuff, right? But you're like really obviously like a high potential, great person who could be really like just a nice person to work with. The company might actually open up a junior role for you, right? This will never happen if you're like a bad person. So this quote, you have to see it in this context, right? So it's like just such a huge overweight.
I can agree with that point on Ivan's part. The Pareto principle comes into place. Okay, 80% of performance comes from 20% of the workforce. I'm gonna sound really smart today, okay?
No, you don't sound smart. Only for people who've never heard of the Pareto principle, they're saying,
Yeah.
geez, I don't know what he's talking about. I better keep quiet, okay?
Which is 80% of the population. Or
Are
actually
losers.
none who see
That's
the
what
show.
the Pareto principle says. 80% are losers. 20% do 80% of the work, okay?
yeah, that is a fact in any company. If you take
Okay, so what does
any
that have to
business.
do with saying hire someone who you like, okay?
Yeah, it
I
has
believe-
happened. They do hire a person who can work, who's a nice person, good to work around with, at least to boost team morale. Okay.
Okay.
All right. It happens. A program is not built by one person, it's built by a team of people, of which 20% will actually put in the real hardcore programming development work. Okay. If I'm correct, Ivan. Okay. Maybe a balance to another 10%, 20% put a little bit more. Okay. And the balance 40% junk.
Okay, I think as well, though, you do want to spend 8 hours a day with people you like, okay? I think it's
Then I probably am
important,
not spending time with people I like.
but you want people who can who do the job as well. Anybody else
Yeah,
want in on
exactly.
this? Anybody else? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's right. We don't do tech, so I don't know about the tech part, but the personality fit is huge, and just being able to make people want to work with you. I tell my kids that all the time, that's the thing they have to master, is being someone that other people like to work with. That's more
Dale
than half the
Carnegie,
battle.
Dale Carnegie's book is one of the best books for that. I forget the
It-
name,
I never
It
liked
may not be right, but it's how.
but
the
it has
world-
some points. Yeah,
Okay.
especially not to bitch
Number
about other
one,
people.
be a person who can do the job. They might like you, but they'll fire you if they have to because you're not carrying your weight. That's number one.
True, true.
Personality comes is also important. Now, you know, I wanted, Sasha said, bragged last week, she's English as a second language person, and she knows what finesse means, but she couldn't define it, okay? Michael G. Cox told that other podcast that sales finesse is, oh, it's really important. Although then he said, it's not so important that he knows lots of great recruiters who have no sales finesse, but he couldn't define it either. So it was upon me, the recruiting animal, to go and
Save
look
the
it up.
day.
Yeah.
Animal,
okay.
I have a question, Animal. You know, there's another meaning for finesse also.
Go ahead.
Okay, a simple example is a girl finessed a guy out of cash.
Okay, that's the thing. Here's what it is, okay?
The context matters.
Finesse, let me just give you the official stuff and then you can contribute. It's refinement or delicacy of workmanship. It's someone who can do subtle work, okay? Skillful handling of this is an interpersonal situation, skillful handling of a situation. Example, she handled the interviewer's questions with finesse. Okay, again, what's finesse? Great subtlety and tact in handling people or manipulating them. If you're really good at dealing with people, that's when you get into, like what Mario was saying, you can guide them, you can cheat them, okay? Here's another definition: to deal with a situation or a person in a skillful and often slightly dishonest way, okay? So here's, what does it mean to finesse a girl? Finesse is about making a woman comfortable around you, allowing her to let down her guard. I think Mario was using that sort of romantic
I finessed my wife.
example.
I'll accept that fact.
Okay, so finesse then in sales is making the prospect or the candidate feel comfortable, building rapport. Am I right, Michael G. Cox, since you used the term?
Yes.
Okay, so how is it, and I've got a lot more to say about it, how is it then that you think that someone could be a great recruiter without having that ability?
So there are two sides to this. And so when I was talking to that guy on that podcast that you got so offended by.
I didn't get offended. I thought he should have taken you to task like
Well, of
we
course.
would.
Unfortunately, this is the only show that does that, which is great. But you know, when I think of finesse, I think of having conversations with VPs of sales, sup Ernie, and being able to have that more delicate conversation that demonstrates that you know what in the hell you're talking about with regard to their specific, maybe not industry, but department within an organization. So if you do accounting and finance, I'm stuck with, look, I don't know what you do, but I can certainly try and recruit some individuals for your organization. But I'm at a loss with regard to what the internal intricacies are of a, department
So are you
or
trying to
finance
say,
director
you know
is.
what, usually you're not so tongue-tied, okay? Are you trying to say that, if you don't have to have sales finesse if you are actually a subject matter expert in the field of the person, the hiring manager you're trying
No, I think
to.
that's where it comes in handy, because if you have no finesse, but you have all the subject matter expertise, then I think one will still fail to have a decent conversation with somebody about that subject matter.
Okay, here's the opposite. This is listed: clumsiness and interpersonal relations, clumsiness, frankness, honesty, and ignorance. I think they mean by ignorance, no tact. So if you're too frank,
Or
sometimes
too honest. Honest is
too
the
honest,
opposite of finesse.
that tact. When you don't tell someone they're lying, you say they're fibbing, or maybe you're stretching the truth a little on that. If you call them a liar, it's a little too blunt. Okay, that's what they mean by honesty. Okay, but there's a guy. Maybe I should ask
Well,
him.
then, when you lack finesse, lead with honesty.
Okay, honesty doesn't work. That's why you need
Sure it does.
finesse.
If you hold on,
Wait, we're
if
usually
you're having a
the ones that
conversation
argue
with a guy
him,
who's
though,
having
about this.
trouble, I'm sorry, go ahead, Donna.
I was gonna say, we're usually the ones, he's usually the one that says, you gotta be honest. What do you mean? And we're like, no.
I have
it's
no
not.
finesse. That's not
No,
my
it's
style. I'm
always like,
clumsy.
it's
I'm
how
frank.
you-
I'm
It's
awkward.
how
Okay.
you say something.
I'm
you
not
know,
a $1 million man like Super Rich, mind you. Does
Hey,
Super
he is
Rich have-
as
does Super Rich have
crude as they
finesse?
come.
I don't know if Super Rich has finesse. Okay, he's pretty
definitely-
blunt.
We
Screw
just-
you.
He has
I don't
finesse.
need you. I'm rich. I'm super rich.
He has it because none of
He has
us
it.
question it at all. Like none of
Yeah.
us question if Rich is super rich. We all believe it. So he
I
has
believe he's super rich. He shows those pictures of himself on the beach in the Caribbean with his family as
he
well.
could be good with Photoshop.
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
I wish he was here to speak, argue this point.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to leave this finesse thing go. There is a guy, a sales trainer called Dave Cal, Kahle. You can look him up, and he tells you exactly how to use finesse. Okay, so I'm going to read it. But first, I want to tell Ernie something. Ernie, tomorrow is International Recruiters Day, and we've been invited to give our personal messages to the recruiters of the world. And a few of us have gone, and we're going to section those pieces off and send it over, those little clips. I have a specific quote from you that I wanted you to talk about. You think about it, because I'm going to come back to you to deliver your message later, but you don't have to. Okay. Now I'm going to get back to sales finesse. Dave says the person with finesse understands what motivates people and can quickly figure out how to work with a person. Okay. He says it's like music. Some people are born with an aptitude. That's super rich. Okay. But they still have to learn how to play. Okay. I think Rich has a personality that, he can be blunt, but it's not insulting. It's just something about the way he plays his instrument. Okay. Whereas that doesn't work for me. I am insulting. I am not successful when I tell the truth. Okay. Okay. And so Dave Cal gives his example. The prospect says, I want to think it over. Okay. So then the salesperson doesn't disagree, doesn't start pushing. The salesperson sympathizes and says, yeah, I can understand that. But then the salesperson, I don't want to say he, I'll say she. Then she asks questions to figure out the specific concerns. The person's saying, I want to think about it. It's too vague. Well, you say, what specifically do you need to consider more deeply? Okay. What is it you're not sure about? Okay. And then you help the person. They might not even know. You help the person come up with the specific issues so you can address them. Okay. So that's sales finesse. It's just standard, handling objections, at least in a nice, phony way. Okay. What does anybody agree with me or want to comment on
Phony.
that? Michael G.
Not
Cox.
phony, not phony. That's it.
Well, you're
that's what
restraining
that-
you're restraining your
Exactly.
impulse. He says the person with, I didn't read this part, the person with finesse has to restrain themselves because they're eager to make a sale. No, hold off, just be nicey, and I'm your pal. I'm sympathizing with your stupid concerns. Okay. I'm not going to push. I'm gonna play you. Okay, so that's
But
what.
also, it's helping them understand as well. There is another side to it where a lot of times that people just don't know. And when you can ask them the questions and say, what might you discover that would change your mind? What are some things that you're thinking about that would cause you to go one way or the other? It really helps them clarify their own thinking as well. So it's not
Anybody else?
just being phony.
Anybody else want in on that?
That's like old school training, you know, where you did rebuttals and you did counters and how you handled everything. I mean, it's been taught like forever. It's nothing new.
Well, we didn't know Michael G. Cox's term, sales finesse, okay? So Michael G. Cox is not paying attention, okay? He started the ball rolling on this. And
Checking my IRS statements.
yeah, well, this isn't the time for that. You're supposed to be leading this discussion on sales finesse, okay? I had to
Yes,
look
but
it up
anything that
because of
starts
you.
with dear
He's
taxpayer
learning how
scares
to
the crap
spell
out of
it.
me.
Finesse.
Yes.
Ivan Gulenko,
honestly, I think it's-
Plan.so, sales finesse. Do you want to talk about it at all or yes or no?
Yeah, I get. I mean, so sales finesse means
That's your favorite. That's one of
believe-
his favorite things, you know. And should I be mirroring? You know, should we be? If we were selling to Ivan, should we be mirroring him by going like, like?
It should be
I learned
Hey,
in
Ivan
a-
should
in a-
become a
profile
meme.
picture.
in a YouTuber course. I learned that you have to show your hands because it's
I
more
like it.
engaging to
I'm
the
not
audience.
saying I don't. I like
Ivan
it.
reminds me of that guy who became very famous on YouTube or something. He just looks at something like, "Mm."
Go ahead, but he doesn't do it
So
with that
sales
face.
generally is a task where you kind of annoy people, right? You talk to them all the time about things they
fuck.
kind of want, but not really want at this moment, maybe. So you don't know. So you have to counterbalance it somehow by being like likable, I guess. So being
No.
likable and having sales skills together means sales finesse. Maybe, I don't know.
You know, that's the kind of stuff you learn when you're in high school. Like you're either the guy that everybody likes or you're the guy that everybody wants to beat up.
Yeah.
Here's
Bring
what I,
it.
no, the parallel is with romance. You know this. You don't go up and ask someone to sleep with them right away. You seduce them, okay? So you make them feel
On
good
point.
about you, and that's what he
Terrible.
was talking about. I
Make them trust
that's
you.
my wife, right? I don't go up and say,
Hey,
"Hey, you
I
wanna
accept
sleep
it.
with me?" Go ahead, Mario. Do you want to comment?
No,
on
I accept the fact. Yeah. The thing is this: in sales, I have to learn finesse, right? Or maybe it's my own insecurities holding me back. All right. But without that, without finesse, you cannot close deals easily. You have to have a high hit. You will not have a high hit ratio. You get the idea?
Okay, yeah, I get the idea. I think you've got a natural aptitude. I've told you before. Okay, you've got a musical way of talking that it's lighthearted. So I think it pulls the punch. If you're honest, it doesn't come across as like the way I am. Okay,
Look, hey, Animal, you're gonna love this. I'm gonna disagree with somebody.
go ahead.
That'll be me, I guess.
I know you live for this.
I live for it. I live and
I
breathe
think
for it.
Ivan, he's over here on my end.
Over
I
here
think
now.
Ivan's absolutely wrong. If sales is not about when somebody doesn't need something and you're trying to finesse to keep the conversation going. What I'm trying to do is using finesse and maybe a little bit of subject matter expertise peppered in, having a conversation with a target. Mine is almost always a VP of sales, and explaining to them quickly that I know what they're going through, or I have solved these sorts of problems in the past, and being very specific about the problem that I've solved in the past. And if you're not having this problem, you're not having this headache, that's okay. I'm going to move on to the next one, because I'm not going to try to win business that I can't solve. So there's like a problem that I can take care of. Now, if
I think you're creating a straw man. I think you're misrepresenting what Ivan said. Donna also said you're helping someone figure out what they need that they don't even know they need it. Okay. And I think maybe that's what Ivan meant. Okay.
No, I mean,
yes, to a
when I
certain
said it
extent
actually-
in what we do, yes, but
We'll tell you what you meant, Ivan. You wait a second. Okay. Go ahead, Michael G. Cox.
This is gonna be good.
I'm not trying to educate if they don't know that they have the problem, then they don't have the problem.
That's,
No,
not
that's not true.
That's not true at all. Wrong.
No, if a VP of sales hasn't figured out that he needs to fill that position, then what do you think their level of?
He may not
You-
know that.
hold on, wait a second. Look, he's
I
picking
tell, I
only
tell
the
them, let
VP
me,
of sales.
Hey, hey.
Dr. Ivan, Ivan will tell you.
Hold
Hey, I
on,
agree with
let's-
Michael on that point. Michael's right. If they don't
No,
know
no,
they have a
Mi-
problem, they're not going to fix it.
hold
If
on,
they
Michael
don't have,
Dukakis.
if they don't, if their problem isn't at a level of urgency where they've figured out, holy crap, I need to fill this position because it represents $5 million of quota that I'm never even going to be able to deliver on because that job is not filled. Well, then what level of urgency are they going to place on having my people in for interviews? Or if they haven't figured out that they have the problem, they certainly haven't given it any urgency.
See, I
That
think
urgency means that lack of
Donna,
urgency.
one sec.
they're not gonna
I'm
talk
not
to my
that guy you
people.
were talking to on that other podcast, okay? Don't go on too long. Well, here's what Michael G. Cox is doing. Donna,
I
want-
can't communicate in 5 words or less.
I will
Animal is.
forget-
I'll say something. Animal is really jealous. Okay, I can see that. The
No,
jealousy.
not
that
at
it's
all.
green with jealousy. You know.
I
want
recommend you
Michael to go
guys
on
for every other.
Holy crap, look,
opportunity.
as soon as somebody makes a point that is valid, we're gonna move
No.
on or say
No,
not
listen,
I'm not
Wait,
moving
I'm
on.
moving on.
No,
Michael P.
no.
Cox, wait, I have, here's where I disagree with you though.
Okay, go ahead, Don. I wasn't moving on, but you go before
Okay,
me.
here's
I
where-
got some finesse. Go ahead.
Here's where I disagree with you, because they could very well know that they need something filled and have urgency, but they don't know that they need your help. And that could be the point that you're trying to get across. And they might be cutting you off because they have people they work with, they already have their systems. So there's still something where you are showing them that they have a need that they may not know, and you are the answer to it. So it still applies. Now you might get to a point where you're all done. That may be, but I don't know.
So my yes, if that was your point, totally agree. I'm trying to demonstrate that yes, they need me. Fine. But if they don't know that they have a problem to begin with, that was my concern. If somebody mentioned that earlier without pointing fingers, then that's what I disagree with. I'm not going to wait around to try and educate a VP of sales on, hey, you actually do have this problem. I'm all for demonstrating the value that I bring and showing them that they can't live without my service.
Okay,
There's one more point,
Oh, no,
sorry, Animal.
Mario, just let me get in here, okay? Like I'm not getting in too much. I talk too much. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Here's the thing. I'm
It's no
paying
problem.
for this. I'm paying Zoom for this show.
He's claiming ownership.
Okay, Michael G. Cox pulled one, and none of you guys called him on it. That's why I have to. Mary,
Okay.
I won't forget you. Michael G. Cox situated it with only in business development, okay? But what Donna
That's
was
all I
talking
do.
about before, no, you're
Oh.
not. You're recruiting people who
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
say,
gotcha.
I'm happy where I am.
That's
And
true.
you say, hold on, I'm going to teach you that I've got, you can be as happy as you want there, but I got something better, okay? And after you're
That's
going to be
also
talking to
business
me, you're going to be dissatisfied with where you are, okay? Let me tell you that. Final, I got to say, Steve Finkel based his whole business on calling hiring managers and explaining to them why they need people when they say they don't. Okay, but I'll put that to the side. I just want to point out that recruiting is not just business development. You're recruiting candidates who have to be convinced. Go ahead, Mario, therecruiter.com.
Okay, I agree with Michael's point. The main thing is, even if they know they have a problem, they need to want to fix it. Okay, some people are so egoistic, especially in sales, that they don't want to fix it. They don't want to accept that they're wrong. Okay.
And if they don't fix it, they got a 50-50 chance of getting fired, and they don't know.
Yeah, but they don't have the understanding that might happen. Now just imagine, I reach out to
I think
a
most
top guy.
sales leadership executives do. The average tenure for a VP of sales has dropped to 19 months, I believe it is. And that happened. It dropped by 7 months during the pandemic.
Michael, I can imagine your subject line. Do you want to still have your job after 19 months of starting it?
But that's why people tell you, you got to get to the point where you got to become a trusted advisor. That's not your first conversation. That becomes a conversation that you create over time, where you can actually talk to them and you learn more about how they run their organization. And
Anybody
it-
else on sales finesse? I'm glad we talked about it, Michael G. Cox. Thank you for that, okay?
Really
Sales-
want to thank you, Michael. I really do.
Yeah, throughout that entire conversation, I just kept thinking, oh shit, if the recruiting animal hears any of this,
Well,
I'm
she
never gonna
snitched
get to
on
the end
you.
of it.
Okay, it's Donna's fault. She
Donna's
snitched.
fault.
Hey,
He
hey,
said-
Donna, I want to say thank you for having told the
I
animal.
want to thank
Yeah,
Donna for bringing this up, Donna.
Thank you. You're welcome.
It
Hey,
was real wise.
I was just missing the animal. I have to say, I know I like it. I like when he cuts people off and makes them, even when it's me, it makes you be more succinct to get to the point. It's like
Yeah,
being back in the
I
1980s
agree.
talk radio. I love it.
Thank
I love
you.
it.
That's how it should be. That's how
Yes.
shows should be.
Yeah.
Too much yapping around.
Now I got to tell you about this Dave Call. For maybe I should invite him onto the show. I don't know, but he's got on his website. Take a look at it. He's got specific sections for religious people. Okay, biblical sales and
Jesus
the
Christ.
yeah, isn't
Give me a
that a
break.
lack of, isn't that a lack of finesse? I mean, maybe not in the United States. There's so many religious people. You got a huge market that you're appealing to. But if you're not of that religion, isn't it, sort of saying you don't belong here? Go take a
Sort of.
look. Dave Kahl. You guys can look it up right now, like
I
you
don't
do
want to see
everything.
it.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm sorry. Is that basically somebody niching down?
Yeah, he's niching down on religious sales. Biblical
Religious
sales.
Maybe.
recruiters.
Perfect.
Maybe you're right. Yeah. Well, no, it's not
crap.
just recruiters,
They
it's
hire
sales.
pastors. That's awesome. I
Okay.
swear.
Okay, no, that's a business. People hire pastors.
People
But
at the
okay,
Catholic Church.
I also found out that
Jesus
there's a
Christ.
show. There's a show on Blog Talk Radio at 1 p.m. Central. What's that? 2 p.m. my time, I guess. Yeah, Eastern time. It's called Sales Finesse. Okay. He's also it's called blogtalkradio.com/sales finesse. And for all you people out there, finesse is spelled FINESSE. So Michael G. Cox wasn't just pulling it out of his hat totally. He was just using a term he didn't fully
Oh, his
understand.
hat. You said hat.
I
Okay.
didn't pull anything out of my hat.
Okay.
My
He was,
hat.
I heard something else. But
Okay.
anyway,
he was using a term he didn't fully understand. And we
Blog
helped him.
Talk Radio is still around, dude. You should go back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's got tons of, you're there. There's tons of your stuff. Okay. Something else that I almost got hacked last week. And then yesterday or 2 days ago, Chrome came out, Google came out and said, Google Chrome has been hacked. You should go and update it. So I'm going to tell you how right now. Go to settings. And then from settings, go to, there's 3 dots in the top right corner. Click on those. Go to settings with the drop down box, then go to help, then click on about Google Chrome, and it'll give you the option to update Chrome manually. Okay, because they've had a breach and you want to protect yourself. So Google Chrome, they've got billions of users. Go and protect yourself. Now, let's go back to the Ernie, food industry recruiter.
yes, ma'am.
.com. You missed all the I want, if you have a message for the recruiters of the world, but this is the message I thought you might want to give. Ernie said, I'll
I'm
prep
gonna
you
give
for
you your message to give.
it. Okay. Yeah.
Wait,
Do you want me to give you the message first, or do you want to just deliver it? Okay. You
You
go
know,
I
ahead.
would say
Give
you
me the
deliver it
message,
to Animal, and
No,
then
you're telling
Ernie
Ivan
just
how to
say,
think. Why don't
yes.
you give me the message?
Or let's do it this way. I'll take Michael G. Cox's advice, okay? And I'll let Ernie deliver the message. And if he delivers the wrong message, I'll
Yeah.
give him the right one.
But will you give it to me with finesse back?
Don't expect any finesse on this show,
Go
okay?
ahead and tell me what I was supposed to say. Go ahead. You tell.
No.
say.
You go. Do you have a
I
message?
don't know. I don't know what the message is you're talking about.
Okay, but if you have a message on your own before I prime you
He
for
He
it.
doesn't even know what you're talking about, man.
I
Okay,
have
tomorrow.
no message of my own.
Tomorrow is International Recruiters Day, says Stephen O'Donnell. I really didn't know. Donna told me he made it up. And
Well, he
I
said he
believe-
did. He said he
Oh.
did online when somebody
Yeah.
asked about it. They said, "Who started this?" He said it was me.
Yeah, I believe him. I believe him. Okay, so he's taking videos of messages from recruiters to the recruiters of the world, and we've made a few of them on this show already. Donna made one. I made one. Ivan made one. I don't. Mario did you make one? I can't
Nah.
remember. No, okay. But if Ernie, do you have a message that you want to give to the recruiters of the world, or should I prime you
Yeah.
for it?
Go ahead and do it.
Okay, this is Ernie's message, but I'll say it to you and then you deliver it to the world. So I've got a video to submit. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Ernie says, as a recruiter, remember, no drama. Focus on your next task without
He said
negative
drama.
emotion. Drama. Okay. You are only a phone call away from happiness. Always be positive and goodwill will come to you. Okay, Ernie, do you want to deliver that, or is it just what I said?
It's
You want to
just what
deliver
you
it?
said. I mean, it's that. That's what I said. I don't remember it all because.
You
But yeah.
posted it on Facebook.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I did. And I got 100 replies. I looked at that. That was
Yeah,
my goal.
and-
This is
not only
amazing.
that-
It's the best thing I
It's-
ever
it's-
heard.
Oh, yeah,
about
he liked it.
recruiting.
Actually awesome. Okay. Seriously.
That's what I'm saying.
If I would have known that I was doing it, I would have spoken better. Go ahead. What is it? Ernie? What's it?
No, I just expanded on it because you said you should expand on it. No drama. In my head, that's what it is. And I say there's no drama because people have to understand that you're only a phone call away from happiness. That everything will go good if you think positive. If you don't think positive, you ain't going nowhere. So be
True.
cool. Be
True,
cool.
true, true.
Yeah, today you're in your pastor mode, right? But
Yeah, I am.
Donna said you've got a godfather mode. And I think, when you
Yeah.
say, I'm not happy, Ernie's not happy today. How are you going to make Ernie?
How can we make me happy? I watched
love
The
that.
Godfather and I learned those things. I mean, that's the way you listen
So-
to how they talk,
I'm not happy here.
Yeah.
The godfather of
You-
I'll make you an
recruiting.
offer. You cannot refuse.
another one.
Make me an
Another one is
offer.
this one.
No one delivers
You know,
like
the other one is this one. I called you the other day. You didn't respond, and now you're calling me because you're out of a job. Why?
Damn,
Did
son.
why did you disrespect me?
Yeah.
What the
so
shit?
good.
Okay.
Ernie, you're a different
Okay.
level, Yoda. I
Don't
really
wo-
call you
don't wo-
Yoda. Hats off.
Don't worry. I will take care of it for you.
Oh
Go.
my
But
God,
remember-
that's awesome.
But remember, in the future,
In the future,
when I will come to you.
I will call on you. Yes.
I will call on
It might be many years in the future, but I will call on you for a referral. And you better
That's why
have
you
one.
watch The Godfather, because they got
Face
ways.
changes. Well,
Don't
I mean,
make me
I
beg.
love
I'll
it.
call on you
It-
for a
it-
referral.
it's-
Don't make me
it's-
beg.
It's a part of where I grew up, man.
It's a total transformation though. Like
Well, you
here's
should
the
see me
thing.
when I had my mustache. It was coming all the way down. I looked like, the boys would like, hey,
Los bigotes.
yeah, that's it, man. You had to have that mustache. So
That's
What's
awesome.
that, a Fu Manchu mustache?
well, that's a big long one that makes you look like you're from the hood and you
Okay.
know, and
What
you
do-
they leave
I
you
don't know
alone.
about the- Okay, okay. Here's another anybody else got something they want to talk about? Anybody? I got lots of material, but if anybody has an issue they want to talk about, I'm begging you. I said I talk too much. I'm giving you your chance
No,
too.
please go ahead,
ahead.
Animal. Give us
Hey,
something
I'm
to
curious.
beat up.
Are you fellow recruiters of mine, not of the world, just right here, having issues with low response rates, or I should say much lower response rates in the past 30 days from candidates?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Not just like overall, but like since the beginning of the year. I'm talking about just the last 30 days.
I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they said it's gonna get worse next year.
Oh, whoa, okay.
You expect your rates to be low now. They said expect it to go down even further down.
Yay.
shit.
So
That is my biggest issue that I think about night and day is candidate engagement and how to improve it and what I can do to get them to, when they finally want to respond, to choose me out of
Yep.
all the people who are calling them and texting them and emailing
Yep.
them, LinkedIning them. That's the thing I think about constantly.
The biggest thing is to come off, I think, is confident when you're responding to them. And I got something, and it's gotta be like happy. It's gotta be like, hey, I got something. Do you want to talk about it? And do you have time for a conversation was kind of a nice saying that I heard somebody talk about, ending their email or their text.
Mhm.
And if you don't, then
Okay, I've got a whole section on that about messages on LinkedIn. Is there anybody else? Okay.
Hey,
No, but
Nobody
isn't
knows
that a
about
good
that.
one question? Isn't that a good sign in a way? That the more we'll have more business, the harder it is to find people, or else internal recruiters will be eating our heads.
oh yeah, and then the other thing I heard in this podcast, this lady said that you should, if you're a recruiter right now, you're in a hot business, and going to what Mario was saying, and that you should expect a raise, and you should be out there getting more money, because if they're not paying you, it's time to move.
Yeah.
And but I have found most people that are especially in the corporate world, they find that difficult to do. And I don't
Ask
know
for
why.
more money.
Well, a
That-
lot of them
that's
are
a-
getting offered lots of, someone posted that 50% of recruiters are going to change jobs this year. And you got a whole stack of people saying, I changed in the last, say, few months, right? And they said mostly money, but some people didn't change because they're worried. They really like where they are. And if they move for more money, they might not be happy there. Okay. That's an
Yeah.
issue.
No, I mean, that's always a concern, but it is interesting just to watch people's reaction as to how they approach that whole issue of whether or not I should change.
I've been pretty happy every place that I've ever worked, and it had nothing to do with where I was working.
No, it has everything to do with the boss. Whoever your boss is, if they're cool, you're fine.
I've
Well-
been to places.
I think that comes down to the mindset. When you're working for yourself, you have the mindset of being your own boss, meaning that you don't need to be micromanaged. You're a type of a person who is a go-getter. Nobody's out there behind you who's going to push you to do your work. But
I love my boss.
Yeah. he works for himself
Sasha,
and-
I won't agree with you on that. All right.
Why?
When you work for yourself, the
Elaborate.
stress is. When you work for yourself, the stress is 500% till the deal is closed. Okay, believe me, every deal counts. All right.
There's
But wait a
lies,
second.
damn lies, and then there's
Isn't
statistics.
there?
Yeah.
Isn't that
There's
better
statistics.
versus
See, It depends on what you want in life. I want money.
yes.
I want to
yes.
be filthy rich. Not everyone
Agreed.
wants to be filthy rich. Some
Agreed.
think
And-
money is evil. Let them go hang. Okay.
But
Some say I'm going to hell.
Oh.
I'm okay.
But the other part of that is when you work by yourself, or you're a solo recruiter, you have control over your time. And I have a friend that works as a solo recruiter, and her father got sick, and she took him to the hospital, and she's taking care of him. And she said, I'm gonna have to spend some time and remove my time around and reallocate because I'm taking care of my dad. And she goes, if I had my old job as an HR director, she goes, I wouldn't have been able to do this. And that's the beauty of, in any job, being your own boss. And that you don't have to fill out this stupid paperwork. You don't have to ask for permission. And it's that whole blessing. And if you work for a company that takes care of you in terms of your family and really has that as a priority, then you're in great shape. If you got that other kind of job, then heaven help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing too is people that are charging like 10%, 5% fees or 20 or
Get out of the
15%
business.
fee. Well, the thing is this, that everybody in the industry are raising prices. Why aren't recruiters saying, I used to charge you 20, now I'm gonna move it up to 25? It's, and it's the opportune time to do it. So my challenge is make it at least 25.
Yeah.
Or get an engagement fee or get
Yeah,
it
that's-
retained.
Ernie, that won't work in the federal department because of freaking budgets.
Well, that
Well,
maybe,
Get out of. Stop.
but
Stop
you
working
don't,
with the
but you
federal
don't know
government.
Yeah,
that,
true.
but you don't know that until you talk to them, because I can guarantee you that they have other recruiters that they pay 25% to, or they pay a little bit more. It's just the person you're talking to.
But it
Sure.
has to
You
be
have a
like a
point.
right moment, right? I mean, it's very hard
Yeah.
to like for me, for example, I had last year, actually, we had a client, this was not good and stuff. And it was a client from way early at the very beginning when I started recruitment. And I started back then with 18. And then the client, and then some years ago, I already had, as you say, 25 as the standard one. But I have this old client, we already stopped working together, and because they were also not so easy to work with. And then the CEO came back and said, let's recruit together. And I'm like, I told you already like last year, like, hey, if we work together, it's not gonna be 18, man. And now you're coming to me again. It's like, hey, let's do then 25. And then we did 25 on the retainer. So it's like, if the person comes to you and says, hey, I want to work with you, then you do the like 25 retainer, all that. But if it's an ongoing relationship, then it's tricky. Then like please, Ernie, tell me, when was the situation where did you just say, hey, it's nice weather out there. How about 25% instead of 22?
No,
How did
but I
you do
mean,
this?
but I mean,
That is
when
no
you-
finesse.
when you're dealing with a fee increase, I
But, like,
usually say, well,
when?
I tell them, get the job order, and I say, let's talk about my fee. My fee is 25%. I don't think there's going to be a problem with that, is there? And they'll say, no. They'll say, yeah, well, we pay all of our recruiters 20%. Then your answer should be, well, that's interesting, because I want 30, you want 20. Let's just meet in the middle and end the bullshit. And they say, fine, okay, just do it. Come on, you can do it. You're not going to pay me anything anyway if I don't place anybody.
What do you guys think of my new lip color, by the way?
It looks like you and Sasha are on a romantic vacation
Yeah.
together in the Caribbean or somewhere.
He's right here next to me.
Yeah, only she's over there, me, okay. Okay, Ivan, anything else you want to say about that? I like the way you said that. Hey, weather's great today, 25%, pal.
Yeah, that cracks me up.
I
Let me
mean,
tell you what Ivan was thinking, though. I want to say that right now. This is what Ivan meant to say. No.
just the randomness. I mean, you have to, if you charge more, then you have to argue. So, I mean, you can say, okay, look, other recruiters, they just forward the CV, they don't even call people. But I actually have at least a 10-minute conversation about like the key aspects. And I ask them about the technology stack, about the salary wish, if they want to work in a product company or more project-oriented company. All these things your people don't have to do. And also I do a little bit of technical like ability check if they like know what they're saying, and then you save even engineering time. So you like give factual reasons why, and then you say also, of course, okay, like I'm on the market such a long time, like I like worked in food industry before or in tech before, so my network is bigger such that I will have access to candidates that other recruiters do not. That's why other recruiters charge 20 and I charge 25. Like such a, and if they
What
like
about
don't
this?
understand that,
What
then
about
they are
saying
bad
the market
clients.
is so tight today, I have to charge more because I'm going to be spending
But
more
this is
time
then
to
not with
find
you,
people.
know, I don't like this reasoning because it's like the market, and if the market is down, what then? Like, I mean,
Oh,
it's like,
okay.
it has to be about like
Yeah.
your personality, your brand, like
Mm.
why you actually are worth this 25%. And why, for example, I always say, hey, nobody ever complained. Nobody said, okay, this was like wasted money. Like it's, you know,
You can
So,
always,
like,
you can always say, look, all of my clients are 25. I cannot go down to 20 because that would be unfair to all of them. That's number one. But more importantly, though, it's just the fact of bringing up the topic with a client and ask yourself, do I not want to do that because it's uncomfortable for me? And I think that's the part that most people would rather avoid and continue on with life and try to place somebody and do everything else, even though I'm charging 15%. You know, and you listen to some of these trainers are saying, well, start at 15%. Hey, the guy made $8,000 today. And I'm going, bullshit, man. That's like not. And they're all happy because they made $8,000. And all like shit. That's not
yeah, I mean, the suffering comes later, right? I mean, I thought also in the beginning, wow, cool, there's like a placement, because it, indeed, like it was like, actually the first couple of placements I did even for free because I didn't know recruitment is a business. Like actually only some months later, I was like, okay, like companies ask for this service, let's do this. And then I was like, you know, trying to actually be on the, like, same as like if you have a new like a restaurant or supermarket, like a small supermarket, right? There will always, the prices will be much higher than at Costco. So like if you are like a small shop starting out, you can't go on the lowest price, you'll be like destroyed immediately. You have to like make the highest price and then actually through your individual effort, be much better than the others. Otherwise you'll die. This is my opinion.
Which reminds me, Ivan, it's like, have you all, you know, other recruiters, have you guys ever mentioned to somebody what you do? And then they look like they pay you for that?
Yeah.
You know, it's
No,
like,
I think they're more surprised by how much how
you
much
get paid?
we charge, how much we're actually paid. With regard to the rate, the past few clients that I've had conversations with, I find that it's just easy if I blurt it out, because the biggest problem with rate hikes or rate changes is all in my mind. Because well, I started off, I'm charging everybody 20%. And I'm going to tell this guy 22. And I get to the point and I say, yeah, 22%. Like, okay, so 22% and this and that. And yeah, okay. Oh shit,
Yeah.
that was easy. I could have said 25. So
Yeah, and and that's you're absolutely right. It is hard to say. And
now,
that's it's
let
like
me
making
ask you guys
football.
about this one. Let's say we have somebody that's doing what types of positions that would normally be contract: forklift operators, clerks, general maintenance, and like office type jobs, receptionist, let's say, or even skilled within an office. But it's normally something that a company is accustomed to doing on a contract for 520 hours. But you do not want to deal with either paying for that employee up front, waiting for the check in the mail, or paying a percentage to a factoring company and having to go through and get unemployment insurance and all that stuff. Would it make sense to you to do a direct placement for $2,000 or $1,500 for a forklift operator?
You know what? Ivan just said in a message to everybody, isn't it great when the recruiting animal doesn't talk? Well, I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue what you were talking about. I let you ramble on there. And not only that, Ivan didn't raise the fact that Michael G. Cox says, well, I just blurted out, I just blurted out. Okay. I used to charge 20. Now I'm just going to say 25, but you didn't address Ivan's issue,
Animal,
which was a challenge.
Animal,
challenge.
how did that make you feel, Animal?
How did it make me feel? What are you, my psychiatrist? You're not my psychiatrist, okay? I'm the psychiatrist here. I look into the things you say that you want to hide. Now, Michael G. Cox, he's a master. It's his finesse. He just ignores what he doesn't want to address. Ivan raised the issue where the guy wants them to work for 18%, okay? Ernie said, no, it's 25%. Okay, 30. I'm doing you a favor. It's usually 30. I'll make it 25. Now, and Michael G. Cox didn't even address that issue.
So I would say, look, no,
Okay.
I can't do that. I have so many other clients, and they're all at whatever Ivan wants to charge, 20%, 22, whatever it is, whatever the number
75,
is.
Aaron, 75.
So I tell you what I can do is take your contract, and I'll have your stuff in mind if you can't do 20%, or I have everybody else at 25. And if I happen to have the opportunity to get to that, I will, but it's not going to be a priority. And you're kind of putting them on hold. You can even say, I've got a waiting list, and if I get through all of my work and I don't get any other clients at my normal rate, I might be able to attend your stuff, but I can't tell you when.
Is that a nice way of saying,
No, it's not a nice way, because they're going to be very upset about being told waiting list. You're not going to work on my stuff. So why are we even talking? Well, because I thought you were going to be at 22% like everybody else.
anybody else want in?
The other thing you could tell them this: if I'm working contingent, and you got other recruiters working 20, I'm working 25. If I find you a better person, it's maybe $3,000 more, maybe $5,000. It's gonna save your job, bro. You're gonna take care of your problems that you don't have to do it yourself, because who's doing it now? It's you. So for $5,000, we take care of it. But if other people find you find another person that's better at 20%, then go for that one.
Ivan, does that answer your question a little bit? Because I don't want the animal to get upset about the fact that he's.
I think you got to show Ivan more respect,
ignored.
Michael.
We can also like talk about the difficulty of the role, right? I mean, like, I don't like this, okay, yeah, I do with the others, but it's like a relationship. We are together here, right? So like, I try to say, okay, well, this role, not only is a senior engineering role, you also need almost native level of German, which already is like half the candidate pool is gone. And that, like, I mean, these things that are like actually show that you understand the role, yeah? So this I like to do, to actually like mix in your real knowledge about the recruitment market and why this role is super hard and why you can't go to like 22 or something like that. And
No,
at the same time,
I,
I mean,
I
if
don't
the
think
bank
that
is-
makes sense.
But
What
I
you
think-
could say is, if, look, I'm filling those types of roles for some other companies right now at 25%. Now, if I take on your contract at 18%, who do you think I'm going to send my top candidates to?
Well, the other
Can
other
you
part
talk
of it-
so frank with clients in the US? Do you actually talk like that, or just like to display?
What do you
yeah,
just
it's like
not
so
talk
frank.
about the realities of
Yeah, sure,
of
but
work?
it's like so blunt. Like you just talk so blunt. I mean, I don't know. I'm asking. Maybe
Wait,
it's
wait,
Texas
now
style.
I'm very curious. How would you say that to somebody in your neck of the woods?
in
Yeah,
your
I would say like,
language.
okay, the priority of this, I would actually try not to mention this because I assume like this is implied. But you're right, some people don't know that. So then I would say, well, in theory, like, I mean, yeah, this,
You
I
know-
mean, hard
you know,
to say. I guess.
The down and dirty of it is you got to figure out within yourself what's your minimum percentage, but yet also what's your minimum dollar range, because to hire that forklift driver and to hire that CFO, it's the same amount of work. So why would I spend my time
No.
spend my time finding a forklift driver when I could hire the CFO and make 5 times as much? But you know, you got to start with that limit. If it's like, say, I'll only work for jobs that pay me at least 20,000.
Yeah.
Then you gotta figure, can I bring the percentage down if they want to pay this guy $1 million? Sure, I can. I can charge you 5% if he makes $1 million a year. But if he's going to make the same amount as somebody else, no, I won't bring it down. I've got to at least make a minimum of 20,000. So if you want me to hire that person or to look for that person, it's going to cost you a minimum of 20,000 or 10,000 or 18,000. But also just have those two numbers together.
All right, I was just curious because, you know, I see a lot of individuals trying to start on the contract side, but quickly realize that the back office stuff is very expensive.
I mean, placing temp people essentially, or
You want to be a
Yeah,
you want to be a
but
staffing agency.
rather than taking on the cost of going through a factoring company, the cost of all the insurances that one has to carry, then you could just do a mini direct placement.
let me ask Ivan a question. He's the only IT recruiter here. And Donna and Sasha, feel free to jump in, okay? I know these men are dominating the conversation, but you women are free to, you know, not let them trample you. Ivan, how come?
I
wait a minute.
actually have a great example when it comes to commissions.
Go ahead.
I mean, you are all aware that I'm working from Serbia. Okay, so a lot of the office-related work is being outsourced to Serbian people over here because the same administrative work can be done from any part of the world. Okay, now when I first started with dispatching, I started at the lowest rate because I wasn't new in the business and I was still learning. But with time, when I gained confidence, knowledge, etc., I decided that I want to go freelancing, that I'm going to go directly to the company based in the United States and that I'm going to offer my services. And I was the only one who was able to negotiate the salary where I wanted to be. Later on, I was working on recruiting other dispatchers, same in Serbia, and none of them were half the rate where I was at. And I was like, people, you need to do your research.
But why was that? You want to get to the point of the story, okay? I'm getting slack here, okay? I'm letting you guys talk without getting to the point, okay? Come to the point.
Here is the point. Here is the point. So the thing is, because all the other people decreased the pay range, the employers in the United States were aware how the things are working in Serbia and would not go across some like bullshit rate for the dispatching. Like 3 times less.
Hey, hold on. So you're saying the American employers, our customers, they knew that Serbians are underpaid but that's all the more reason not to take a higher fee to pay a higher fee for you. How did you get a higher fee if the customers
I know to sell myself. I know how to sell myself.
Okay, you to come back. We're going to close the show with you telling us how to sell ourselves. But Ivan, I want to know why you're the only IT recruiter here. How come, with reference to, go ahead, Ernie. Yeah, with reference to Michael G. Cox, how come you're not placing contract people? Because Jerry says that's the key to riches. You put in
Makes a
people
killing.
and they're there for 10 months or whatever. You don't have, and they're every week the checks are just rolling in. How come you're placing people on permanent status rather than IT contractors? Ivan, do you have a quick answer? Not a rambler.
I place mainly full-time employees, not contractors, in Switzerland in tech for several, I think 3 reasons. First, it's basically super. You have to immediately find someone like tomorrow, a front-end developer, and the person is immediately put into the contract. That is like super fast-paced, and usually the quality checks are not needed. So I don't like this type of work. Then you have to work with a payroller to get this all going. It's actually not so administratively hard, but it's still like an extra effort, right? So you need always a bigger partner with whom you work with. And actually the contracting market in Switzerland is small. Because
that's the answer. There's the answer. If you're finished. Sasha, do you have a quick one about why, or do you want to save that for next week and tell us how you can tell? I can tell you right now how you can sell yourself. You are ambitious and you've got a not an unpleasant but aggressive personality, and that's your key to success. Okay.
Confidence.
She's confidence 110%. That's why she can do it and other people can't. Do you have anything to add to that, or do you want to challenge me? Because we're over the hour already. Go ahead.
No, that's accurate. That's 100%.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you. Okay, just like I came back to Michael G. Cox with the sales finesse. Okay, nothing gets
I'm glad you
by
did.
us
Thank you.
here. What?
Thank
What?
you for coming back.
Okay, now say goodbye and thank you to all the recruiters of the world. Everybody, this is a profession. Everybody hates you. That's my message to the recruiters of the world. So long. Thank
All
you.
online, never
Bye.
face